When this man John went diving, one shark kept bumping into him. At first, he was terrified, but he soon realized the shark was desperately trying to show him something. What the shark did afterward is incredible. John had always loved animals, right from a tender age, and he also enjoyed visiting aquariums. Everyone called him a fish because he enjoyed swimming and was quite good at it. However, when he turned 8, he suddenly had aquaphobia, a fear of water. It all started when he went to a park with his parents. He slipped away when no one was looking, and he jumped into the adult pool. It was all fun until he swam to the deep side of the pool. Fortunately, his parents realized what was going on and rushed just in time before things got out of hand. His dad, being a great diver, jumped into the water and rescued him. But ever since that fearful moment, John had been afraid of the waters. Well, he didn't stay afraid forever, otherwise who knows what could have happened to the shark in this story. It took about 10 years before John finally overcame his fear of water. It all started when he got into a relationship with his girlfriend, Claire, who was also a great diver. This charming lady helped him overcome his phobia, and when John's feet touched the water again, little did he know that the courage it had taken to face his fears would someday lead him to an incredible encounter. From swimming, John eventually moved to diving, and he would often go to Emerald Charters in Jupiter, Florida with his girlfriend and one of his friends called Chris. He got so used to it that he often took 3 dives every day. In 2017, John, as usual, went to the coast of Jupiter, Florida for a dive. He wasn't alone as he went with his friend Chris, who was a photographer. My friend was reluctant at first. He was having a bad day and didn't want to go into the sea. But I told him there is magic in water and there is a possibility he could come out feeling refreshed. Well, it happened that way because in a few minutes, Chris captured something very fascinating. After wearing their water gears, the 2 friends jumped into the water ready to explore. Everything was going as expected until John noticed a lemon shark swimming toward him. It is normal for sharks to do this, but there was something off about this one. It seemed as if it was looking directly into John's eyes and wanted to pass a message across to him. Ever since John had been diving in the ocean, he had never gotten into trouble with sharks. Unlike popular belief, sharks are not dangerous to the human species. And despite their scary reputation, they rarely attack humans except when they feel threatened. So John was confused. Did the shark think John wanted to harm it? And then the shark bumped into John and swam away. A few seconds later, it turned around and bumped into John again. Every time it swam by me, it would bump into me a little more. They always bump into us, but they don't bump into us that frequently. That was when John suspected something was wrong, but he didn't know exactly what. Well, until the shark did this, that is. The lemon shark kept constantly bumping into me, and whenever it did, it would lift its head, showing me its stomach. It was quite intimidating, John said. However, despite feeling intimidated by the shark's extreme closeness and size, John knew he was safe. So he moved closer to the shark to see exactly what the shark was trying to show him. Then, it turned out John's suspicion was right. Indeed, something was wrong with the shark, and it was in a considerable amount of pain. As John lifted the shark, he saw a tiny little black dot on its stomach, and several thoughts crossed his mind. Was it a parasite? Was it some sort of malicious growth? Well, to be sure, he swiped at it, and he felt something hard. At first, John flinched, and then when he looked at it closely again, he realized it was a hook. At first, he thought it wasn't something too serious, but oh boy, when he looked at it for the second time, he was shocked. Wasting no time, John quickly reached for the hook and tried to pull it away. But immediately after he touched it, the shark, obviously hurt by the move, swam away. So John knew it would not be an easy rescue, but he was ready. A few seconds later, the shark swam back to John, and he hoped it had finally mustered enough courage to get the hook removed. Well, that wasn't the case. After John pulled the hook halfway, the shark swam away again. Even John couldn't believe the length of the hook. I had only pulled the hook halfway, and I couldn't believe how long it was. I couldn't tell how much of it was left in there. I just hoped the shark would be courageous and swim towards me again. The third time the shark swam back to John, it was ready. It was the kind of thing it definitely wanted out. As soon as I started pulling it out again, the shark was like, "Get this out of me." Finally, the large fish hook worked its way out of the shark's stomach, and John was shocked by its size. John, who is 6 foot 3 inches tall and 200 pounds, said the hook was nearly the size of his hand. He also believed the shark swallowed the hook and estimated it must have been in its stomach for about a year. Wow, it must have been such a relief to have it finally out of its stomach. No wonder the shark wouldn't stop bumping into John, and thankfully, John was patient. It was only after John got the hook out of the shark's belly that it dawned on him that the world deserved to see such a beautiful moment. He then wished he had captured the beautiful moment. Immediately, the thought of having that moment caught on camera crossed my mind. My heart skipped because I thought it was gone forever. It was a moment I would love to see over and over again. Of course, I would love to show it to my kids, just as my dad often showed me pictures of his beautiful escapades with animals when I was younger, John said. Luckily, John's friend, the photographer, proved to be good at what he does. I would never use the camera again if I had failed to film that scene, Chris teased. John had been so focused on saving the lemon shark that he didn't even realize Chris was recording everything on camera. It was only when the shark swam by that he looked up and saw Chris. When their eyes met, his friend gave him a thumbs up. I gave him a thumbs up back, and I think my eyes must have stung a bit from tears. I was just so happy he captured the moment, John said. Well, the two were about to call it a wrap when the shark appeared again. And this time too, Chris was ready to capture whatever was about to happen. This time around, the shark swam around John, and then it swam right up to the video camera. John and Chris believed that was the shark's way of saying thank you. At last it was free, and it finally swam off. The two friends watched the shark till it was out of sight. That was a crazy opportunity, an experience to be a part of, John said of the unforgettable moment. The encounter left John a feeling of accomplishment. What he and his friend got to experience is indeed incredible. You would agree with me that getting that close to an injured animal without being harmed is indeed a spectacular and unique occurrence. All thanks to John, the shark can now continue swimming around without any pain or discomfort. After John and Chris got out of the water, they told the story to the staff there, and their story went viral. John was glad to see that the story made it to different news channels. He believes it's a way to counter the wrong narrative about sharks. I am happy the story got out there. It's great for sharks. Sharks are cool and they aren't man-eaters, he told ABC News. I hope the story changes any wrong perception you may have about sharks. I will see you in my next video.